and welcome to Retro 500, where I take a look at a retro game in 1,000 words today, give or take 10%, because this is my 50th video. So we're gonna go and revisit my very first video. Let's go. Home consoles were home to many arcade ports, but it was less common to find games native to consoles that had an inherent arcade feel. One game in particular is Wiz and Liz on the Sega Mega Drive from 1993. I'm usually dubious about Western developed games of the era, as they often look decent enough, but tended to suffer in the gameplay department. Thankfully, this isn't the case with Wiz and Liz. The game takes place on the planet Pum, where magic is real and wabbits, not rabbits, are the prized pets of the game's titular protagonists, Wiz the Wizard and Liz the Witch. Unfortunately, the pair are better at looking after their animals than making decent potions, and accidentally let one overcook, resulting in the wabbits being spirited away. The question is now, are you a bad enough druid to save the wabbits? After selecting a character, you're plonked near the cauldron in front of Wiz and Liz's house, where you're introduced to one of the game's main mechanics, mixing fruit. Well, the game calls everything here fruit, but I'm pretty sure a carrot is a vegetable. The first potion you make opens up the door to the overworld, allowing you to pick one of the game's 8 stages. Levels are broken up into a series of rounds with 2 phases each. The first involves you collecting letters released from infinitely spawning wabbits that end up spelling some very British sounding words. A few of them sound like euphemisms for sticking a up your. Once all the letters are collected and the spell is complete, the remainder of the wabbits need to be picked up in order to unlock the door that ends the round. During this second phase, wabbits release things like stars, which act as the game's currency, magic fruit, extra time, and bonus letters, which unlock a bonus round. Throughout the stage, you're on an extremely tight time limit. The extra time icons you collect are only worth a few seconds each, and they're not even added to the clock until the round is over. If you're cutting it close and luck is on your side, a wabbit will release an orb containing 30 seconds of extra time. But more often than not, you'll be finishing a round with only a few seconds left, if that. When a level's complete, you're taken back to the cauldron where you can mix 2 fruits together for a myriad of effects, such as opening up a shop where you can cash in your stars for extra lives, time, or fruit. You can also unlock mini-games like Splat Those Dudes, where you can throw tomatoes at John Burton and I think Andy Ingram from Traveller's Tales, as well as Pugsy. Alright Pugsy, you ballsack looking fuck. There are a lot of fruit combinations, and it's a good idea to bring a pen and paper to keep track of what each one does. After beating all the stages, you're taken to a boss fight, which is the only time you can both inflict and receive damage. The battles aren't terribly difficult, but your attack often has difficulty locking onto the right part of the boss, and this can get finicky whilst you're also trying to dodge their attacks. And let's address the elephant in the room. These bosses are unnerving at best, and only get worse as you continue doing damage. I remember being seriously freaked out by them when I was a kid. The game as a whole has a subtle creepiness to it that I really like. The moon switches between a friendly and menacing face, there's a big grim reaper in the background of Deadland, and more uncanny weirdness throughout the adventure. Once the boss is defeated, the wabbits are saved and Wiz and Liz return home. Until they pull the same nonsense, the wabbits are whisked off again and the game progresses to the higher difficulties.
It is happening again.
This is where things go from challenging to frustrating, as new mechanics are introduced, like hollow letters that remove a part of your spell, and exploding wabbits. Midway through the game, a flashing fairy starts hanging around your character that points to a wabbit who's about to go bang. Saving this furry fucker's life is paramount, as if it goes to that big hutch in the sky, all your letters are removed and you need to collect the spell again. While this is equal parts traumatic and hilarious, it's a full-on pain in the arse, as late game wabbits are less likely to drop extra time, meaning that the clock is tighter than ever. Despite this, I still find myself coming back for more, and I think it's down to the fast-paced gameplay, fantastic Western-style graphics, as well as a brilliant and catchy soundtrack by Matt Furness. This is probably the most Kirby-sounding music you can find on the Mega Drive, and it suits the game's atmosphere perfectly. It's a bit of a shame that Whiz and Liz has been all but forgotten. It was unfortunately one of those games that came out at the wrong time and didn't stand out enough against the big titles of 1993, like Rocket Knight Adventures, Barney's Hide and Seek game, and Street Fighter II. In an era where developers were trying to innovate gaming and push hardware further than ever, Whiz and Liz came across as simplistic and almost archaic. But I think this style of gameplay, combined with its charming graphics and music, makes it an ideal candidate for something like an Evercade cartridge. Maybe a Psygnosis collection? If you've never played Whiz and Liz, I highly recommend it. And with the benefit of hindsight, it's easier to appreciate the game for what it is, rather than what it was up against. With a few tweaks, I reckon this could have made some minor arcade magic. But for now, it's a great way to kill an hour, or a wabbit, on the Mega Drive. Hey, thanks so much for watching this episode of Retro 500, 1000, whatever the hell we want to call it. Thank you for everyone who's tuned in and subscribed and liked and commented and supported me along the way. I can't explain how much I appreciate it, so thank you. If there's anything that you think that I missed about Whiz and Liz, let me know down in the description. But until next time, take care and goodbye.